I remember the time where I was making this project called They Stole My Computer. They Stole My Computer is like the project that describes, it's pretty much saying the straw that broke the camel's back. It's a bunch of events that led up to my computer being stolen. There was so many things going on that was kind of really vexing me, and then my computer was stolen. And so I know a lot of people's like, man, why are you stressed out because his computer was stolen? But it was a lot of things going on all at once, just back to back to back to back. And when you vent in music, which means when other things happen and then I go to music to vent or get it out, and then somebody take your vent, then you kind of explode. You know, every air condition has a vent. Where there's cool air coming out, there's hot air coming out somewhere else. And so at this time, I had kind of reached that point where I was just stressed out. A lot of things were going on. And I remember my friend Ketchup, he's a producer. Elijah Ketchup, big shout out to you, bro. Came to the studio, and somebody else came, and we were supposed to have a session, but I forgot that I double booked the situation. So I just told Ketchup, hey bro, just play what's in your spirit. And and I started to record him, and then I left out to attend to the other appointment that I had. And so I was gone maybe like 10-15 minutes, and he just was playing. There was no sequence, there was no bridge, no verses. He was just playing out of the spirit. And then when he left, I started listening to the chorus that he was playing, and a song came to me, and I started to produce the rest of the song, and it was called "Remember Me." And it's how I felt at the time. I felt like, God, you forgot about me, man. I felt like I did everything you told me to do in this situation, in that situation, and I'm not getting the results that I wanted or the ones that you talked about, that you promised me, and I feel like you forgot about me. And I wrote the song out of my spirit. I didn't put a lead vocal on this song because I felt like I was singing for a generation of men that felt forgotten. And I remember Jesus being on the cross, that on the right side is the guy said, or on one of the sides, I don't know which side particular, but one of the sides, the guy said, if you be the Son of God, save yourself and save us, kind of mocking him. And then the other guy says, I know you are the Son of God. And Jesus says, this day you will be with me in paradise. And the guy said, in their conversation, when you come in your kingdom, remember me. It's like, hey, don't forget about me. And such a broken place to say, God, remember me. He's hanging on the cross with Jesus, and he's saying, hey, when you go the way you go, I believe. They're like at the point of death, but I still believe that you are the one that's going to come into your kingdom. What faith that I see you in the same situation as me, but remember me when you come into your kingdom. And so those were the words that came out, that God, have you forgotten us? There are a lot of guys that I know that are in tight situations. Have you forgotten us? Remember me, Jesus. Remember me. Like I'm trying the best I can to please you by everything that I feel like you're telling me to do. Remember me. And I just felt like really broken at that moment. And so I wrote that song, recorded that song, and it's like the main song of all of, I released like a lot of songs on that project, but it's like the main song. It's called Remember Me, and it's just I just imagine like thousands, if not millions, of guys that's in the same spot that feel this way, that you work hard and you're still not getting the results that you felt like you were promised by God, and you feel like God has forgotten about you, and you just feel like your life is in a spiral, and you're spiraling down. And so I wrote that song, and it was kind of like a vent for me. The way I wrote it with no lead, again, singing for a generation of men. And so later on, I got to the point where the project is done, and I remember we're picking up my son, my youngest son, from school, and my wife and I were sitting in the parking lot just waiting on him. We got there a little early, and for some reason I was listening to the song again. It sometimes had passed, as far as the record being out, but I was just listening to the song and just really understanding that moment where God had brought me from, but kind of identifying with where I was at the time. And playing the song, and the song went off, and then after that, like right after that, on Spotify, Kingdom Business came on. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it went from almost musically my lowest point emotionally to one of my highest points, if not the highest point, when I recorded Kingdom Business as far as emotion. And from that low to that high in a matter of seconds, it's almost like my emotions freaked out, and I just started screaming and crying. And I was so at that point, I felt embarrassed to be crying like that in front of my wife, but I could not stop. It's almost like God took me from a low point straight up to a high point, and I just couldn't emotionally handle it. Almost like being on a jet-propelled elevator. And Kingdom Business came on, and I just cried throughout the whole song. And it's almost like Kingdom Business came on as a reminder of what the mission is and what the mission was, and how God was still with me. And I'm telling you, that is the thing that inspired my tour to be called Kingdom Business. It's like, oh my God, I remember. And sometimes you're going through situations where you forget how blessed you are, and you're getting into this emotional thing to where you think you're not as blessed as you are. When you think about where you were years ago and how far God brought you, sometimes you forget about it. And so I forgot about it. It's almost like, man, I'm here, pick my son up from a private school, super blessed, with my wife. We're good. I'm healthy. I'm in my right mind, and just carrying baggage of wanting to be in a certain place of ministry and music and business and all that type of stuff, but didn't just realize how really blessed I was. And so that thing took me back to a place where I didn't have as much, but I was emotionally higher. And it changed my life. That moment changed my life. And so I'm saying all this to say, sometimes we are in grief. Sometimes we're dealing with a certain thing, and we haven't counted our blessings in a while. Like, you counted your blessings, you're living off your blessings, you're doing what you do on another level from where you were before, and you're not recognizing at the time how blessed you are. This is what I went through. I didn't realize how blessed I was, or how spiritually spoiled I was. And I want, you got more, and you want more than that. And I just didn't realize how blessed I was at the time, till God just took me back to where I was when I recorded Kingdom Business. And I want to read something for you. I know people doing, quicker sermons or whatever. I'm just doing this out of my heart for people who are going through and who are dealing with certain things emotionally. St. John chapter 14:1 says, "Let not your heart be troubled. ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would not have told you. I go and prepare a place for you. Now, chapter 14, chapter 13, the last verse or the last passage of chapter 13 is Jesus telling Peter that he's going to deny him 3 times. All right. It says, verse 48 in John, Jesus answered, wilt thou lay down thy life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto you, the clock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice. Or pretty much, the rooster won't crow until you have denied me 3 times. And then he goes right into, let not your heart be troubled. Now, there's no chapter and verse in the original passage. They did this for us to read and understand. So he's pretty much saying, you're going to deny me, but don't let your heart be troubled. You're going to do some crazy stuff, glory be to God. You're going to do some stuff that's going to really cause me to go to the cross. You're going to mess up, but don't let your heart be troubled. And the crazy thing about this passage is we have an ability to not let our heart be troubled. We have an ability to keep our hearts and our emotions in check. And this is what I had to deal with the passing of my mom, with the passing of my dad, staying in grief too long, staying emotionally low too long. God said, Jesus is saying, don't let your heart be troubled. You have control over that emotion. Raise your emotions up. Get yourself around people that can feed you emotionally, that can make you laugh, that can build you up, that can encourage you. Let not your heart be troubled. And your heart can be troubled because you're dealing with some life situation. It's not your fault, but you can still pull yourself up. And so Jesus is saying, let not your heart be troubled. And he's talking to Peter, but he's talking to the disciples and saying, you're going to deny me 3 times, bro. But don't let that keep you emotionally depressed. Don't let your heart be troubled. You're going to mess up. And there are many of us that have messed up, that have made decisions in our life, and we're still in that place of grief or regret or bitterness or unforgiveness or unrepentance. You know, these are things that you can correct. You can fix those. And so I'm just saying to myself, man, I'm emotionally strong. The joy of the Lord is my strength. I'm happy. Glory be to God. And there's another passage, St. John 14 and 27. It says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world gives you. So I give you peace, but my peace is not like the world give you. Let not your heart be troubled. He says it again, and neither be afraid. And so I've been working on boldness, and I'm a bold guy. I do some stuff that a lot of artists and pastors and preachers, whatever, don't do. I feel like sometimes I'm called to a different lane. It's okay, you know, but I've been afraid to do a lot of things. And in this season, I am really going towards that, or that you know, you get that feeling like, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. I'm kind of going towards all those what I call Goliaths in my life. When David went toward Goliath with that rock, he went towards him. He charged Goliath like, I'm finna cut your head off. I'm finna kill you. And he was a giant, and it looked impossible, but he did it. And so I'm getting ready to really charge and go after all the Goliaths in my life. And the Goliaths are pretty much things that I'm like, I don't want to do that. Or I want to do that. Or I know I'm supposed to do that, but I'm nervous to do that. Or, God, who am I? You called me to do this. That thing is huge. Can you call somebody else? All of these excuses I'm not doing anymore. And so I want to say to you, let not your heart be troubled. Let not your heart be troubled. God is calling you to do something, do it. All right? And you made mistakes, forgive yourself. Get your emotions on another. Get your emotions up, you know? Sometimes, man, you got to, I don't know, go on your phone and change the apps, delete certain things, get off social media, or do something different. Play some different music. Try different things. Throw away some old clothes. Do something to just inspire yourself for change. Sometimes it takes little things to inspire the big things, and letting out your heart be troubled. So the Kingdom Business Tour is going out, but that's the reason why I started this tour, is because God started to remind me of who I was and what He's done for me. Glory be to God, and how far He's brought me, and what He's done for me, and what He's doing for me. And I allowed a period of my life to define my entire life. And it's like, no way. You're super blessed. Boy, you sitting in the parking lot picking your son up from a private school. You blessed. All right? You're blessed. So don't allow certain things and certain situations to define your whole body of work, your life, and what God has done and where He's brought you from. Yeah, you go through certain things, but you'll be all right. All right? I hope this is helping somebody. I hope this is encouraging somebody.